Let's start with a graphic, because somebody made the effort to make the graphic, so I'll share the graphic with you. Tell me what you think. It's a device. I think they call them devices, don't they? It's sort of like a graphic device then. I think it's about connecting things together and ripples and things like that. But won't dwell on that. Just a very quick insight into innovation at the BBC, just to set a bit of a flavour here. This is just a quick VT.
This is the British Broadcasting Company calling.
The station goes on the air. Television broadcast for the first time. The first outside broadcast of the Olympic Games.
The coronation service witnessed by millions.
The first live round-the-world telecast, The Beatles.
The first colour television program in Europe.
You can keep abreast of the latest news with CFAX, meaning CFAX.
Now, computers are getting to be very, very commonplace.
BBC puts computers in schools.
Greatest day of rock the world's ever known.
Today, apparently, we launched our website.
Making the unmissable
Truly unmissable. We're giving you complete control of what you want to watch and when you want to watch it.
We've been bringing you the future since 1922. Makes you wonder, where next?
Oh, no pressure there. So innovation is clearly the space that I'm within Connected Studio, and this will all become apparent in a moment. So I'll just build a bit of a picture here. But in terms of, so innovation sort of embedded within the BBC intrinsically and way back from 1922. And just, so I did something the other day where I put a number of these in, so I've cut them down. But I thought, afternoon, last session, I thought we could do, should we have a quiz? Who's up for a quiz? Yeah? Big shouts for quizzes? Come on, we want some quizzes. We're going to have a quiz. Okay, so this is an innovation quiz. It's only 2, so it's going to be super quick. Okay, so this is the first one. So what did the BBC launch on the 23rd of September 1974? No. No. Hang on, somebody said something down here? Who said? CFAX. Check that out. Listen to that. Listen to that music. Shut your eyes. Where could you be listening to that type of music in the 70s? Yeah? Adult theme, maybe? I don't know. CFAX 1974. I think that only finished. They closed that down literally just a couple of years ago, actually. Okay, here's another one for you. So, this is a telly version, okay? Innovation. 23rd of November 1963. What were we doing? What was that? Telly. BBC, is that the same person saying BBC Two? BBC Two? They'll be here the whole time. There'll be a concert or something going on. Someone going, BBC Two? Open University, any advances? Doctor Who. Beautiful. I'll play this a little bit. Look how the quality of the acting. It's innovation that's definitely advanced from this first episode of Doctor Who from 1963. Just quickly, watch Susan as well in the background.
Rather high-handed young man. You thought you saw a young girl into the yard. You imagine you heard her voice. You believe she might be in there. It's not very substantial, is it?
But why won't you help us?
I'm not hindering you. If you both want to make fools of yourselves, I suggest you do what you said you'd do. Go and find the policeman.
What are you doing out there?
She is in there. Close the door, please. But Barbara, what you want?
Gripping stuff, yeah? Watch Susan. Here she is.
Close the door, Susan.
Here's her moment. I haven't edited this. This is how it finishes. Look at that. Doctor Who. Editorial innovations from 1963. Hey. And then this one. This is probably a slightly easier one. 97. What do you reckon? Yes. Check this out. This is how we have all evolved into the fabulous stuff that we do now. Look at what the BBC launched in 1997.
It doesn't really look like a website, does it? Well, for a start, it's got the old BBC blocks on it, which looks very kind of 80s, I thought.
It's just lifeless of images.
Well, it's actually not that bad for 15 years old. It's pretty much okay. I would call it horrible though, but yeah.
That would have just confused me. No, I don't even know what it is. Would you click on those or?
It's brilliant.
It looks
brilliant.
Right. Cheap.
No,
Cheap, brilliant.
It doesn't look like a website. It looks like a book. It looks a bit like somebody's practicing, you know, of what a website is going to look like.
Back then it was probably amazing when it first came out.
Live sports,
Listen to this
programs,
guy.
communication, Galaxy, help. See guys, all this, it's fabulous.
Fabulous. Fabulous. Back to 97. And then innovation in terms of storytelling. So interactive storytelling. So this is the World War I centenary. This is an interactive story that went in support of that. So in terms of innovating and thinking clearly about what the audiences want is always thinking about new ways to sort of delight the audiences through new things. Into another sort of disruptive sort of area. So this is someone, I just pulled this off of YouTube, of a guy in virtual reality in a in an Oculus with a Samsung Oculus watching Netflix through VR. So are we going to be doing this? Who fancies that? So he's in a virtual room there. So these are all the things that are coming through, and it's in terms of the BBC's perspective to see how audiences would want to engage with this stuff. Who fancies a bit of VR Netflix? Anybody fancy that? No? Netflix and chill, it does actually say that on there. You could probably do that, couldn't you? There's going to be all sorts of stuff coming through that. So in terms of feeding where the audience wants, it's very much in a space when you've got big Goliath products, something like iPlayer that works on sort of 30-plus operating systems. To try and innovate in a product space, it's really, really difficult. So these guys have got massive roadmaps, and look at that. That's a roadmap. It's a video of a motorway. Somebody else put that in there, but I think it works quite nicely, doesn't it? It's just implying the fact that it's really difficult to do these things in product spaces. So that leads us to the point of where the BBC goes in terms of innovation and early stage innovation, and specifically around open innovation. BBC back in did this thing. I found that on Flickr. That's the only sort of thing I could find. Innovation Labs, someone took a picture of a mug, and that's probably their most momentous thing from that period. Innovation Labs around, I think it says on the mug, 2008, around 2008, 2007, BBC Innovation Labs, taking basically a bunch of people into a room with a big swirly carpet and coming up with amazing ideas, did really good stuff, but it was a little bit disconnected from the business, so taking those ideas from those swirly carpet days and trying to plug them back into the business didn't quite work. So moving on and iterating, so BBC Backstage, some of you might remember that from around about the same sort of period. Again, early stages, ways to basically say, use our stuff to make your stuff, opening up APIs to the BBC, people hacking different pieces, again, comes to a natural conclusion, which then brings us to the point of basically saying, innovations never ends, we're always constantly evolving that piece. So 2012, we launched Connected Studio. Does that red mean I'm nearly up? It does, doesn't it? I've been rattling so much long. So here we go. Marketing and audiences is a partnership. So these guys know all about the audience. We know all about the research and development. That's the pieces that we're connected with. And essentially, it's about externally collaborating. We want this fail-fast culture. That's definitely where we're at. And it's about early audience exposure, okay? So we want to get stuff out to the audience quickly. Okay, I'll move past this bit quickly here because this is just about the process of how this thing works. Brief, events, pilot, building stuff, that's the pilot piece. And the taster bit is the piece that I'm rattling through to get to. Okay, let's get through that. Some numbers. There we go. Take a moment for that. And then this is the bit where we're saying we build loads of stuff, but getting them out to the audience was really difficult. So we were building loads of different things, and that's the metaphor that we were building, basically stuff that sat in the graveyard. So what do we want? Somewhere, a little bit away from the business as usual, shiny product space, greenhouse, a sand pit that we could actually play with things. We need somewhere to take those risks and fail, and it's okay to do that. And there's some logos of a load of other people, because we're not the only people that are doing these things as well. the key thing is there about the data in this, is where we take the data and the understanding and how we measure that and how we tell those stories with that piece. Which brings me to Taster very quickly. So Taster is this platform that we've got now. So everything that Taster launched about 18 months ago, ultimately it's a place that we can put things that we've built through Connected Studio or wider, so it's technical innovations, or it could be editorial innovations as well. This can be in this space. It's all couched in very experimental. Nothing, things could be saying like they won't work on certain browsers, which from a BBC terms is like unheard of. So this is definitely a safe place, sandpit, to put things out and trial things. I'll move to, that's the trialing things, getting things out, and it's all about rating the piece as well, which is clear. Beautiful relationship with digital and telly. We're working in friendship with those guys. I'll move through this very quickly because this is just about how the mechanics work. So you've got a story around the pilot itself, and ultimately right at the top there, that's the piece that we want. It's that feedback mechanism from the audience that we can measure the success of things. So since January of 2015, 34 million page views, 80,000 pieces of feedback. You've got to remember that all this comes through this back-end analytics thing. We all love analytics, but this is analytics, dare I say it, on steroids. So you've got this is the mechanism of how the feedback comes through. Very light touch responses back about bespoke things against the particular things that they're actually watching there. Interesting stat around that of people that actually go in to start to rate things. 78% of those people actually complete that, which is quite unheard of in terms of that industry average piece there. There's a beautiful image of the back end stuff, all the sorts of things that you can get on of that. Innovation upon this is actually taking this now of the audience. So as the audience interact with these things, they can actually start to see, rather than just putting feedback into it, they can actually see what others are feeling. So this is a product now within the BBC, is Taster, and it's constantly evolving in the way that it builds as a platform in itself, and the way that the data actually comes through back to the BBC. So it's all about prototyping and releasing. Again, that fail fast, succeed faster piece, and all that iterative and improvement layer, which is all about the way that Taster helps the BBC evolve as it goes. Some numbers there and some logos, and the piece to finish on here. Do you want to see those logos again? There they are again. Some numbers and some logos. There we go. This piece here is, I was talking with Chris and I were having lunch by the river in York. Very nice. Like it down the river. As a platform, so this is the piece now that the BBC is thinking in terms of Taster as a platform. How can we look at opening that out to outside of the BBC? So it's the BBC has the brand, it has the audience that are coming to this as a place to try out new things. So we're looking at this whole piece about, made by you and partnerships with different organizations. A couple of examples there. So that's very much in that space, and it's all about moving Taster further and how we can actually take that data that's brought through and interpret that to make better things. And that's me done. Thank you.